Yes, you read the title of this video right. Billionaires have made $1.5 trillion since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. I had to read the headline twice to make sure I was right. Here's the article I'm talking about. So, obviously, to start off, there is something deeply wrong and really just criminal with a system where billionaires are making enormous and record setting amounts of wealth while millions of people slip into poverty and can't pay for the bills or can't pay for food or just can't pay for general necessities. Let's take Elon Musk, for example. He's everyone's favorite billionaire, right? So, because of his company Tesla, because of their stock performance, he has made $8 billion. Now, that's not over the entire pandemic. That's not his lifetime earnings. That's not the company earnings. No, he has made $8 billion in one day because of Tesla's stock performance. I'm just going to say that again. He has made $8 billion in one single day, while I think is it now like 8 million people have slipped into poverty. No functioning economy should even produce a billionaire to begin with, but let's just put that argument to the side for a second. Let's just throw that case to the side. Right now, there are about 35 million people in the US who are facing foreclosure or eviction. That's about 10% of our population. I mean, somehow, during a time where literally everyone across the board is conserving finances and making some fiscal adjustments in some manner, whether it be like, just canceling subscriptions and not doing delivery anymore, or to extreme measures like maxing out a credit card or selling your car to pay for bills or food. Somehow, billionaires, specifically billionaires, have managed to make enormous and record setting levels of profit during a pandemic where supposedly we're in a supposedly the economy is not doing well at all right now, but billionaires are doing extraordinarily well. Still not mad? So let me show you this. Let me show you this. So since 2018, the average billionaire has paid a less effective tax rate than the average working class family. So not only are they, making billions and billions of dollars, they're paying less in taxes than you. That means more likely than not, when look into a Jeff Bezos or an Elon Musk or Bill Gates, they're probably paying less in taxes, percentage wise, than you pay. That's, I don't know what other to call that than just utterly criminal. Now, I bet you're wondering, well, how the heck did billionaires make tons and tons of money during the pandemic? I mean, like, didn't aren't the businesses they own taking a pretty big hit from COVID? And what about the services they offer? Aren't they in really low demand right now? Well, the answer is both equally frustrating and pretty simple to explain. So, during a time of pandemic and economic instability, the government made sure that billionaires were completely taken care of and got even much, much richer. So, what you have to understand is about when it comes to the stock market, about 50%, give or take, of the stock market is owned by the top 1% of people, the upper echelon. When you get down to like the top 10%, 84% of the market is then owned by the top 10%. So whenever you see like, a news business guy or a politician being really excited over a big, industry average or a specific company taking off or the market's doing really well right now, what they're really talking about is very rich people are getting much richer. So, since the beginning of the pandemic and the lockdowns began back in like March in the US, the market was not looking very good at all. It was looking like the market was going to crash, and if not crash, go into a severe recession. I mean, this is what all experts pretty much across the board were saying. So, so suffice to say, it was not looking good for a lot of billionaires, and a lot of billionaires were pretty worried about their money and their earnings. So, in a like really shocking move to me, like just very stunning, the Federal Reserve came out and announced that they would pump trillions, trillions of dollars into the market to prop it up and keep it from failing, apparently. So we're pretty much, you know, all the S&P 500 companies benefited immensely, whether it be like premium loans or corporate debt buyback, whatever little ways they have of making a lot of cash. So they, came out and said, I think the number was specifically $2.3 trillion they would put into the market. 2.3 trillion. And I think I'm, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure that afterwards they kept increasing that number and pushed it like all the way to 4 trillion. But the number I saw is 2.3 trillion. So after that initial spending spree, there was a coronavirus relief bill. Everyone, the CARES Act, what everyone got a little tiny check from. So in the CARES Act, there's a very specific provision. It sets up a $500 billion slush fund to be basically given out to failing or companies that were in trouble, basically. The person who has control over this massive account is a ex Goldman Sachs executive, Steve Mnuchin, who is now the Treasury Secretary. He has now announced that he will not disclose who he's giving the public money to or how much of that money he's giving to them. But here's the thing, in that provision, there is a very small little thing that allows for these companies to leverage the money they receive from that bailout at a 10-to-1 ratio from the Fed. Again, the Fed. So that 10-to-1 ratio effectively turns $500 billion into a $5 trillion fund. So just remember, in a time where people were really hurting and your government could apparently only give you one little check based off your income level, and that was it basically, and every other developed country on the world figured out how to take care of their citizens, during that time, your government made sure that billionaires got richer off both their own money and your money during that time. Like, they practically ensured that billionaires, specifically billionaires, and the top 1% would make off with lump sums of cash during the pandemic. Thank you guys for watching. It really means a lot. It's very appreciated. If you liked the video and want to see some more, go ahead and drop a like if you haven't already. And hit subscribe to see future content. Thanks, guys.